Acknowledge me.
You just made the list.
I am the B-E-S-T.
I'm better than you, and you know it. Damn.
Welcome back to Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson. To my right, Mr. Guns himself, Rowdy Reece.
Now please show us again.
I am Booker
one?
Ted.
The guns. No.
Yeah, get the guns out.
Look at this.
And welcome to another episode of Down Under the Mat. Here to talk all things wrestling. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment on this video. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, X, and Instagram. We're going to
TikTok.
Oh, and TikTok too.
Getting a little bit
actually.
more active on TikTok, so check it out.
Awesome videos on TikTok, Rowdy.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Good
jump
job,
on there.
Rowdy. Good editing on those
Yeah,
videos.
yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
I mean, he's the one looking after TikTok, so, you know, he
It's
technically
about time
gets
I
the-
actually do something.
Yeah,
I'm
pull
sorry,
your weight.
Dan. I mean, when you did them, wasn't it an AI
Shut
bot?
up. That's not the point, Ted. That is not.
and then I took that and chopped it up even more.
Good work, lads. Good work.
Hey, it's something.
We're going to
Work
talk all
smarter,
things
not
wrestling.
harder, all right?
Exactly. We're going to go through the news quickly to begin with, but we're going to talk all about the Chamber in Perth because we are less than a week away,
Ooh, 6 days.
baby.
3 days till we fly out. I'm more excited about that.
I mean, you know what's even better, Dan, is already being on leave and not going to work
Work.
before we go to Perth, right? Like, how
So
good's
good.
that,
All
man?
of a sudden-
Like-
Hooray!
Wait.
I didn't think ahead, did I? No.
Oh, dude. Oh, well,
It's unfortunate.
it means you're not wasting your annual leave, I guess. But, you know.
I've only got like 5 days sitting there anyway.
Yeah. I've got
man.
plenty. I'm fine.
I don't know. I don't really. I don't have access
You
to
just-
my
you
HR
just do what
portal,
you
so
want.
I have no idea. So anyway, yeah, we're going to talk all about the news first. Then we're going to go through the Chamber. There's only the 4 matches we know of for Chamber, plus the Grayson Waller segment. So we're going to go through, talk all about that and the build up to it, and maybe some predictions for it and how we actually got to those matches in the first place. So we'll go through the news first. In fact, before we get to the news, how is Blink?
Oh, incredible.
Show him a shirt. He's
Just-
not even
just-
wearing a wrestling shirt. He's absolutely bragging.
Incredible show. It's like I've seen Blink, I think 3 times now. 16-year-old me, like this was my soundtrack to life was Blink 182, like
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure I saw them as a kid, like when I was 15 or so at Channel V. If you remember back in like
Yeah.
Fox Studios
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
had Channel V. I saw them there. Didn't obviously appreciate what I was watching because I was like a 15-year-old kid and it was a crowd of people in like Fox Studios. But then the last time I saw him was like Big Day Out 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But that was the time when Travis wouldn't travel with the band because he just had that plane accident.
Yeah.
His friend had died, so he wouldn't fly anywhere. And obviously, Australia is a very, very far distance from
Everything.
America. So you're not going to get on a boat for 4 days to do 3 big day outs and then go
No.
back. So I've never watched the Mark, Tom, and Travis show Blink 182 experience until Friday night.
And now you have.
It was ethereal. It was like Travis is the best drummer in the world. It is such a good experience. If anyone like has a chance to go to that tour, go to it because they are showmen. The sound was perfect. The show was amazing. It just I can't.
Surely they're sold out, man. They'd have to be.
They did well. There's like 4 shows in Sydney, so there was 2 this weekend. Then there's a couple in Brisbane, a couple in Melbourne, and another 2 next weekend. So
Well, they must be because no one's going to Groove in the Moo. They're all going to these international acts, apparently.
well,
Well,
see Taylor Swift broke the Australian.
96.
Yeah, three. She's doing one more today in the MCG. That'll be 3 days in a row of 96,000 people.
And those are her biggest crowds ever.
yeah,
Like
insane.
Taylor Swift has gone around the world, and her biggest crowd is from Melbourne.
yeah. It's incredible. It's
pretty cool.
It's
I saw
crazy.
a,
It's incredible
I
and
saw
crazy.
a comparison shot of the stage setup that she had for like the tour that she's doing, the Eras tour,
Yeah.
at SoFi Stadium, which is where they had on WrestleMania one year, compared to
where
the
the Super Bowl
size
was a
of
couple years ago, too.
MCG.
Yeah.
MCG is so much more bigger.
Yeah, it's way bigger.
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
I
when
can't
you look
remember-
at it.
MCG is one of the biggest stadiums in the world, dude. It's
That's a
massive.
huge stage that she has set up.
Yeah.
And it looked dwarfed when it was shown
Yeah.
in the MCG.
Well,
setting.
because the generalized thought is that the American crowds for NFL and stuff are like the biggest stadiums in the world. They're not.
No.
Most of the NFL stadiums are like 60,000 seats.
Before we get back onto the wrestling,
will.
I'll back you up with this because I don't know if you've seen, because obviously the Super Bowl had 61,000.
Yeah.
But obviously they were all celebrities, right? So they made millions from that because it was
Yeah,
only
super
celebrities that could
expensive.
afford the tickets anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've probably never heard of a trophy in England called the Papa John's League Trophy. So it's pretty much for any teams not in like the top tier of English football.
Okay.
So I think I'm pretty certain it's like League One and down, so not even the Championship. That had 79,000 people attend it last year,
Yeah.
and that's you
pretty
know
impressive.
like
Because you look at WrestleMania this year, which is in Lincoln Ford Field in Philly.
Yeah.
It's about 60,000 seats for WrestleMania for both nights.
Yeah.
Same for like a Philadelphia Eagles game. The biggest stadiums in the US are the college football stadiums.
yeah,
So like Michigan and Alabama and stuff have 110, 120,000 seats.
and
So
they fill them though.
They fill them.
They fill them.
College football fills it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of like size of conference, I mean, we had Reese's shirt. Super Showdown was at the MCG.
Oh yeah,
That was like 60-something thousand.
yeah. It was
wasn't
68 if I remember right. It was pretty big.
Incorrect. 71.
71.
Was that one of your
I
questions
looked-
for a
no,
game
no,
that you were going to do?
I looked this up the other day because I was talking to my partner about it, and I was
Yeah.
just saying like, because I was like talking about how huge the crowd was for Taylor Swift to her. Yeah. And I was like, when we had the wrestling, it wasn't even that much.
No.
So I looked it up, and I think it was like just shy of 71,000 we had
Yeah.
for MCG.
So we're going to get a
but in brackets, it said contested.
yeah.
So
Well, we'll have about
Yeah.
50,000 for Chamber.
Yeah,
numbers?
around that.
that's still like solid numbers, man.
Yeah, it's not Taylor
But
Swift
I mean, I
numbers,
think
but-
it's not sold out numbers
They're
either,
only
unfortunately.
talking about tickets they've sold so far. They're not including any tickets that would have been given out for free to all the WA government and their mates.
I
to
just
go
hope we
rock
get
up,
a
so.
cheeky upgrade because we got our tickets so early. Hopefully,
We
they,
did-
give
They
us
should,
an
though.
upgrade.
Especially for those
Especially
of us
'cause,
who
like, you buy
are in the
ticket-
media.
You buy tickets that early, and then they start discounting them, and like,
I've not got any
Where's the
emails from
benefit?
Ticketek, just quietly.
Well, if anyone from WWE is watching this and wants some proper Australian wrestling media, hit us
fire
up.
us up.
None of this media who's like, oh, yeah, steroids are good, huh? You guys take steroids, don't you? Yeah, I'll watch you.
That was a shot at the Today
Embarrassing.
Show, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
You and Carl Stefanovic not on good terms?
Is anyone on good terms with Carl Stefanovic?
I don't know, probably not.
He's a muppet. Anyway.
moving on. Let's talk about wrestling.
Let's talk about wrestling. All right, so in the news in the wrestling world, there hasn't been a lot, but injuries at the moment. Shotzi, obviously injured. She had to be replaced by Alba Fire.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it Alba or Albi?
Alba.
Alba. Right. Which we knew who was going over in that match anyway.
Yeah.
But
Because we haven't technically seen the Shotzi injury, right? It's on next week's NXT.
Yeah, it's next week's
correct.
NXT.
Yeah. On a tape show. So hopefully it's not too bad.
You know why they're taping the NXT show too? Did you hear about that?
No, why?
So they're doing an NXT tryout in Australia.
Oh.
So the week before Elimination Chamber,
Slex, you better be going. Robbie Eagles.
because so much of the production crew and staff, like Shawn Michaels and whatnot, behind the scenes,
Yeah.
have all got to travel with WWE to Australia to do this NXT type scouting.
Does that mean
session or
William
whatever.
Regal's going to be here? too?
Mate, when we go to the EPW show, and if you haven't booked, there's still tickets available for the
Book, man.
EPW
Yeah,
Rumble.
find out because that's
I guarantee you there will be. It might not be people we know, but there'll be people from WWE there.
Yeah.
100%.
and that's the reason why they had to do the NXT stuff because they could have filmed it because a lot of the, obviously like Bron and Baron and whatnot aren't traveling, but they couldn't put the show on with half of the production crew because they're all
Yeah,
overseas.
that makes sense.
But that's
That makes
cool,
sense.
man. I mean,
So-
there's so much talent here in Australia. They should come over here
Yeah,
and do
absolutely.
that. 100%.
I think it's a smart play for WWE to like you said, see the local talent. You're over here anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to
Have a
poach
look.
some of the
Exactly.
slam talent.
It's only the Slam talent that's going over there.
Hugh Beauty.
Hugh Beauty could be going.
Dun, dun,
and the
dun.
Tuckman.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
come on,
Tuckman.
mate. Tuckman's gone too.
So, mate, come on. He's not technically from Slam, is he? I love the Tuckman. Dan
Love his
loves
bush
Tuckman's
too, don't
bush.
you?
Tuckman's Bosch.
So back to the injuries. Julia Hart apparently from AEW is apparently
yeah, so
also injured as
she'll
well.
be off for about a month or so.
Okay.
Which is a shame because I mean she's obviously their TBS champion.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the one that it is. I always get the.
You tell
acronyms.
me, man.
I get the acronyms.
Mate, I've been
mixed
watching
up.
Dynamite
You're
for
the
weeks.
AEW man. Come
Yeah,
on.
of course I am.
He's the TNA guy, remember?
I haven't watched that for a couple of weeks either. Been too busy.
Don't admit it.
Too busy playing Fortnite, okay?
Don't admit that
Don't
either.
even admit that. I thought you were going to be like, oh, I've been watching other wrestling. No,
have a
he's been
Teenage
playing
Mutant Ninja
Fortnite.
Turtles
Too
event
busy
going
Blink
on.
182.
Okay,
that's
fair
what it
enough.
is.
I forgive you.
Yeah, so Julia Hart will be off TV. And the other injury from AEW is Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
broken
did see the
nose.
footage of that. He copped the Sammy Guevara knees to the face
Broke his nose.
from a shooting star press.
Yep, broke his nose.
And then there was the footage afterwards, which I wasn't sure if it was kayfabe or not. Of whoa, I don't know if he got that close, but yes, that's an example of what Matt was doing to
Oh, Jeff did it as
Sammy.
well.
Oh, did he
Jeff
as
did it
well?
as well.
Oh, because Jeff looked pretty out of it.
Oh,
He
he couldn't even get out of the ring unassisted.
Supposedly,
Was he
not
drunk then?
concussed.
It's hard to tell. Well, Jeff. Oh, sorry.
Easy up, Samoa Joe.
But like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Is Sammy Guevara? Does he injure lots of people, or is it just?
So he
Dan
had
was
that-
saying it's
yeah.
like a Hardy's curse or something.
So remember a couple of years ago when there was the
Street fight?
ball in the
Daly's-
arena or something at Daly's
Daly's
place in Tampa,
yeah.
and it was Sammy versus Matt Hardy.
Oh, and he hit his
They
head.
went up on the crane.
Yeah.
And Matt, that was Sammy versus Matt. And now
So they
this
blame
is-
Sammy for it, though.
Yes, and then this is Sammy versus Jeff.
I don't know, like, yeah, it's Sammy Guevara because it definitely couldn't be two blokes who were so broken from throwing themselves off high objects onto concrete that can barely move. It's not their fault, is it?
I mean, broken Matt Hardy would say no because he's already broken.
Delete.
Delete.
I mean, I don't know. It just seems a bit of an
Delete.
just seems a bit of an
Delete.
overreaction to me because it's like sometimes shit does happen in wrestling, man. You get hurt, like
Yeah.
you know, all these people say, "Oh, you know,
You're not
it's
allowed to say
fake.
it's a
not
botch though, because Chris Jericho will get you.
No, he will. He'll
Yeah.
come
I
after.
can't
Give a
say
shit
He'll come
about what
after
Chris
you and your
Jericho says
family.
about me.
He'll challenge you to a wrestling match against him and Big Show on the
Paul White,
Jericho
thank you very
cruise.
much.
No more BS, mate.
Because they were known as the Jericho Show
Hey,
still. So
no more BS.
there
no more
should be
Big Show.
Big Show. You should be on the sidelines, Paul.
Moving on.
So moving on, Scott D'Amore. So we spoke about that on the last episode.
We did.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, out of nowhere, seemed to be fired, and the talent weren't happy. And the talent have actually released a statement, a joint statement.
Collective statement from the TNA family.
Yeah, so you can find the statement online. Fightful
Share
have
a
it.
link here, I guess, in the comments, shall we?
I mean, there's more work
If I
for
can
you.
find it.
Bugger all.
Oh, no, I'll do it.
It's
It's
just a
fine.
link that you copy and paste.
Mate, you haven't
man.
even put our music game out from last
No,
week.
no, I've been busy. Sorry, bro.
Keep them secret. They're coming. The
Coming?
music game's coming.
You know what
Yeah.
else is coming? Perth.
Yeah, oh, thank God.
I said Christmas.
You're almost going somewhere else then. I was getting away.
As long as it's not COVID that's coming, then we're good.
No, we've missed that one. You saw that.
Thank God for that.
So, TNA family wrote to Lennon Scott, who are the people from Anthem.
Okay.
TNA/Impact is not just our employer and the company for which we work, it is a family. A family that each of us have grown to love and cherish and trust with our bodies and our careers. A family for which we feel deeply and desire, above all else, to protect. A whole lot of other stuff, which we'll leave out. I'll just go to the important part
Sorry, I was getting all patriotic with the way.
around this sentence, paragraph. Sorry. It is our desire to have a dialogue with you and the company in an effort to protect the present and the future of TNA Impact for you, for Anthem, for the fans, and for the phenomenal wrestlers. We feel strongly that a wrestling person needs to be intimately involved at a high level to ensure that the amazing company we've all built and the product we have provided to our fans continues to grow and flourish. It is our opinion that this best possible person for this role was, is, and will be Scott D'Amore. Signed, your TNA family. So that's pretty blunt. They
Yeah.
kind of really like Scott D'Amore.
Yep. It's an interesting thing to do to come out and do that, but it just shows, I think you mentioned it in the last pod about how much he's liked. I think that
Yeah.
proves your point.
And like he's been there since the very early days of TNA, so I'm not surprised
yeah.
that the TNA superstars have rallied behind him that much because he's been such an integral part of that company for such a long period of time.
Do you think that'll be enough for them to get him back on board in some capacity?
I think they'll have to do something.
I
I don't know
think-
about getting him back in
yeah.
his old position.
Put him on like head of creative or something. We mentioned this last time. Like,
Talent
make him-
relations,
make him-
at least?
Talent relations. From a business perspective, I don't think Anthem will want to back down on what they've done
Yeah.
until Josh Alexander and
Like people start leaving.
someone else is like, "Hi, I've now got a contract. I'm going to AEW."
and
And
like,
like, "Oh,
that's the
hang on a
thing.
second." As
That's
soon
the
as
thing.
that like actual, it was the same thing that we saw with the Vince stuff with WWE, right? They knew the Vince story was out there, the lawsuit had started, but they were just like, "Oh, we'll play it." And then the second that Slim Jim were like, "Hey, we're out," they're like, "Sorry, okay, you got us, you got us.
Yeah.
We'll do something." I think the same thing will happen here until there is foot to the ground that someone is going to leave. They'll kind of try and play it to their chest.
Until Moose goes, that's it. I'm gone.
Yep.
See you later.
Moose.
I'm moosing
I mean,
on.
I was trying to pick better wrestlers, but sure, Moose is fine.
Hey,
trying to be better than Moose.
That's just
there is no better NFL star turned wrestler than Moose.
Brock Lesnar.
Incorrect. He was a
Rock.
wrestler first.
The Rock.
I don't
Dwayne
think we're
Johnson.
allowed to refer to him anymore.
We're not allowed to say.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Anyway. Not yet.
The guy that was almost in the Minnesota Vikings team, redacted, was really good.
What about Brock
Mr.
Lesnar guy? He's
Redacted.
just that guy.
He's just now the
We
guy
have to
that-
refer
just
to him
that
as
guy.
the former UFC champion, I believe, is what his new title
that
is
makes the
currently.
guy. That means the guy in the crowd now has to be the former UFC champion guy.
Correct.
Nah, he's rebranded himself as just that guy.
That guy.
And they're gonna redo the footage of WrestleMania 30 when Undertaker lost his streak, where he's just lying in the ring by himself, and his leg just randomly goes.
This
up.
means that Roman Reigns technically broke the streak.
Don't you ever. Don't.
He's got a point.
Acknowledge your tribal chief.
No.
Wow.
Oh, wait, sorry, we're gonna do it like
Anyway,
this.
we're going off track again.
Guns up.
Guns up.
Guns up.
So we'll finish on the
Big signing.
no, we've got two more to go. We'll
Okay.
talk really quickly about
to
Ashley
finish it.
Massaro's stuff. I shouldn't say stuff, but obviously, for those of you who aren't aware of Ashley Massaro, I won't go through the whole thing because if you don't know, you probably weren't watching wrestling when she was around and everything went down. So just literally look her up and you'll see everything you need to know. But essentially, those allegations and everything else have come back up in light of what's happened with Vince. And I think collectively, people have gone, "Oh damn, she probably had a point." Because I think there was a little bit of did it really happen and everything else.
I think one of the major updates lately is one of her friends came out and said that Stephanie McMahon was aware at the time of this stuff happening. So
Yeah.
again,
I
I
still think
think
that's pretty vague. Like,
very vague, absolutely. But also, we all, as much as we don't want to necessarily admit it, the Attitude Era was a very different time of wrestling.
yeah.
You had, Vince McMahon having
Like you've
the
since had
divas be
Tori
topless.
Wilson and stuff come out and say that was like one of the most like depressing and degrading times.
Oh, 100%.
to be a
100%, dude.
superstar in WWE.
100%.
But like, they were doing bra and panties and pillow matches and stuff, which at the time was like, oh, that's just on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like you look back at it now, you're like, that's really degrading. We should never have done
and
that.
now only so far, Trish Stratus has been the only one who's been able to come back and potentially try and fix that with her current, like her
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
run
definitely,
against Becky,
definitely.
which I think proved to everyone like, hey, she actually
was a
can
really good
wrestle and
wrestler,
she's bloody
yeah.
good, and it gives us something to remember her by rather than all that other junk from back then. But I think it's interesting you say that she probably knew. I think this is a really hard sort of discussion, right? Because obviously there were people that, when you say knew, people knew that Vince was a bit of a creepy guy. In terms of if they knew what he had done and to who, I don't think many people would have necessarily known that, but they would have known that he was a creepy old man.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, and I hate using that term, but I've just used it because it's Phil. Like these people were employed. This was your job. WWE for a long period of time was the only massive wrestling company you could work for. And I'm not trying to say that it was turn a blind eye, but look what happened to Ashley Massaro.
I mean-
if you speak up, you were gone.
It's best. What's best for your career?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Seth now. Seth has turned a corner. He's gone, it's disgusting, hate it, blah, blah, blah.
Well-
before, when Vince was there, he wouldn't have said a dicky bird.
Yep.
Right?
Well, there
and
was
now he's
a-
like, Vince is gone. I'm safe in my job. I can say how disgusting that
There's
stuff
an
is.
interview somewhere online that I just was reading through the articles and stuff where Earl Hebner was one person who come out and said that he hopes justice is served.
There you go.
So like not
Well, because he got fired too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
yeah. So not obviously defending it or anything or commenting too much on it, but just hoping that the right outcome is what happens.
Yeah.
We all hope for that.
We
for
do
Sure.
100%.
I think it's going to happen. It's got to. It's got to. The stuff that's been shown already before they even get to court.
pretty damning.
The only problem is that he is in the same position as bloody old mate Weinstein, where he's at the end of his life, and will people really feel like justice has been served? Because I guarantee you, he's going to turn up to court in a wheelchair or something, trying to look like he's the most old man ever, and be like, "Oh, could this old man have done all that?"
Yes.
Creepy old.
Here's
Anyway.
this photo of you 3 years ago, jacked on steroids.
Exactly.
Yes, you could have.
Yeah.
Exactly. That'll be the next memes, is the photos of like a year ago versus now, when he's like, "Oh, I'm just a weak
Walking with
old
a
man."
cane.
Yeah.
But look, yeah,
And
I hope
Undertaker.
for. Let's hope for Ash and her family's sake that
Long-time
some
Papa
justice
joke,
is served for her.
Fire.
Why are we laughing while I'm saying that?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, blame me.
I probably should have just paused for a minute before I said it. No, but for Ashley Massaro and anyone else, like, let's hope that some justice is served. And I know it's a bit late now because obviously she's, not with
Not
us
with us
anymore.
anymore.
But
Yeah.
I think for her family and friends, this will probably be a bit of healing for them too. Hopefully.
And as for the
yeah,
court
hope
case and
so.
stuff, obviously it's still going to go on. I don't think we really need to comment on it too much until
Until it
major
actually
comes
happens.
out of it.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have a lot of pre-hearings and stuff where they're going to turn up and then go see you in 6 months' time. Like, I don't think we're going to really see anything until 2025.
Yeah,
To be honest with you.
definitely. It's too
With the
early.
way he works, and he'll delay it through the courts and everything else. So we'll end the news on a bit more of a positive note, and that is the massive signing for SmackDown,
Smacky
which is Bron Breaker. Can
One
anyone do
half-
an air siren.
one
That's the best
one
one I can
half
do.
of the
Do the
Wolf
dogs.
Dogs
Do the dogs.
NXT tag champ.
Yeah, come on, do the dog bit.
That's better.
The Wolf Dogs. No, that's. I think everyone expected it. We were just sort of waiting as to when it was going to happen, not if.
Do you think they're going to be better with him than they are with Andrade? Because he's had like 2 very vague promos and nothing since.
Well, let's be honest. I think Andrade came back because he's Charlotte's husband, not because he's Andrade.
Wow, that's
That's a bit of a hot
Yeah,
take,
very
mate.
hot.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but like I was
just
shocked
don't
when I
think he
saw he
was-
was coming back because I'm like, do they need him?
I just don't think he was utilized that well.
I think he was
under
great
Vince.
in NXT, and then when he hit the
great
main
in
roster,
NXT under Triple
He's
H.
don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant talent, but you look at the way WWE is now, it's stacked.
yeah,
It is absolutely stacked, and not only like it's stacked with
Definitely think he's
Old-
going to get
older
lost in
talent?
the fold a bit.
yeah. But they've brought up
Oh.
all this new talent from NXT all of a sudden, right? You've got like people like Trick and
Tiffany.
Yep, all them
Time.
coming up.
Time.
Like it is
I
stacked,
think,
man.
I think the reason is though is the way that WWE looks at all of their booking and stuff essentially is like WrestleMania to WrestleMania is like their TV season. It's like their seasons and stuff. And I know they have seasons on Fox or whatever when they have their seasonal
Season premiere.
premieres and stuff and whatever.
Say season one more time,
season. Like how I like my lots of seasoning on my
Seasoned
chips.
these nuts.
Oh,
dude. If you
extra chicken salt
seasoning,
everywhere.
it makes a difference.
For sure. But anyway, I think the post WrestleMania will be like a new season of WWE. So I think you'll see guys like Kevin Owens, Sammy, probably Seth, Roman will all go. Roman, obviously, we know he's probably going to take a fair chunk of break, assuming what happens with this Bloodline storyline. Kevin Owens probably needs surgery, like proper surgery and actual time off because he's worked through injuries. Same as Sammy. We don't know what's happening with Drew's contract. We assume he's re-signed and he has been advertised for some shows in Europe in like August. But realistically,
There is no way they're going to let him go now with how hot him and the CM
absolutely.
Punk stuff's going to be. So.
but realistically,
Good old DM Punk.
Like, yeah, DM,
DM
DM
Hunk. DM Hunk.
Oh, DM Hunk is
DM
it?
Hunk.
Okay.
If there's a DM Hunk shirt, I definitely want to
You
get
wanna
it.
get it. But I think
DM
that
Hunk 316.
Perth.
this bringing up the NXT guys now is getting them familiar
Yep.
to make that wrestle that
So right after WrestleMania, we'll see a lot more of them to fill that gap for everyone who's...
Oh, definitely.
because then
Of
the main
course.
card
course.
doesn't kick back off really until Survivor Series, not Survivor Series, SummerSlam.
Yeah. Dude,
get the
we need to
Romans
see Mello and Trick on the main roster. Like,
Whoop
it
that
it
Trick.
needs to be happening, man.
That was something I noticed on SmackDown. Rather than just getting like local talent to be
They were
jobbers,
NXT guys.
it was NXT guys jobbing out to Authors of Pain. That's
Yeah.
what they need to do.
Now, the only other thing I'm
I
hoping
mean, those
for...
were 2 random guys I'd never heard of before, but like get some somewhat known tag teams up on to job out.
You know,
Or,
it would
like,
be a really good tag team to come up and not job out. Would be the Wolf Dogs.
Wolf Dogs.
And merge
I
all
called.
the tag
I
team
called it.
titles.
I called it weeks ago, man.
did,
I
you
said
did,
they're going
Reece.
to win the Dusty
You know what?
Classic
You
and
know
win
what?
the tag title.
We can't give you the trophy for that's games for later, but here's another award.
You
for
gonna give me
getting
the
it.
cock?
It's the Cluck Cluck Award. It doesn't work.
We know that. Yeah.
What if I blow in it?
uh,
I wouldn't put that
I
in
wouldn't
my
do that
mouth.
either. COVID season.
redacted on YouTube.
Redacted. Yeah, look, it's
I think
Bron's
Bron's
going to do
signing.
well.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because this actually will lead into us talking about the chamber, which we're going to do pretty much now.
He's got his debut match next week on SmackDown.
Well,
Which has been
remember,
pre-taped.
Yeah, against nobody.
remember that originally it was supposed to be Brock versus Dominic Mysterio at the chamber, just in a singles
And
match.
Dominic has said he is coming to Australia.
So,
It will
is
be
there
at the
still a
chamber.
chance? And we just talked about this
Love it.
before. There's only 4 matches been announced, and then the Grayson Waller segment. Do we think that they might actually look at let's put Bron on there and he comes on and does an absolutely dominant display and destroys Dominic Mysterio?
I feel like the match might come out from the Waller Effect segment. More
I
so.
think there's a couple of different things that may happen. I think something will come with Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes isn't coming
just to do a
Australia
segment.
just to do a segment.
Just no
And
chance. No
they'll,
chance.
they'll make him wrestle because realistically, for Australian fans and for a pay-per-view, you're going to have no Roman, no Seth, no Rock, no CM Punk.
Well, we've got Seth, just not in
Yeah,
a
but
match.
I mean, like wrestling. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have any of them in matches. You're going to have to throw one of them in a match. Cody's the one that's not hurt or not, a pretentious baby that doesn't want to travel. So Cody will have the match.
But he's a Cody crybaby, isn't he?
We'll just have to...
Cody
Oh, we're
Crybabies.
Cody crybabies. Sorry.
No, you guys are crybabies, mate.
Oh, sorry,
hashtag
Mr. Rock.
just because we want Rocky.
Cody, all right?
No, I want Rocky.
Can you wear a gold silk shirt for me then?
Mate, if you spend $500 to buy me one, I'll do it.
No, this is on you.
We'll
mate.
get to the silk. We'll get to the silk. But yeah, so back to the.
I think a match too. So we've also had announced for Elimination Chamber in Perth. There's going to be a press event the day before,
Which we will be attending.
which we will go to.
100%.
It's going to have like Rhea, Kevin Owens, Triple H,
Randy
Logan
Orton.
Paul, etc. There,
Yeah.
that'd be sick. We're going to go to that. I've talked about the NXT, the trial thing that they're doing throughout the week at some point. There's also the Superstore that they've got in Perth. Set up with
Dakota
the merch.
Kai, Asuka with Kairi Sane will be there.
So that's my point here.
Yep.
Damage Control is not announced for this show.
no.
None of them are in the chamber.
That's very true.
But you've
Why
got
they're there.
But you've got Asuka, Kyrie, Dakota, who is from New Zealand, which is close to us, all coming for a signing session.
We're basically brethren.
You're not flying the Kabuki Warriors the other side of the country just to sign signatures. They're going to have a match.
Just back on that, you know that it's quicker to fly to New Zealand than it is to Perth for us. Just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those of you who might not be in Australia and don't know. So
Right, we're practically cousins.
I will call maybe an Indy Hardwell and Candice LeRae tag match against the Kabuki Warriors.
okay.
Indy gets their hometown pop. Because
Okay.
she did say on Raw that she really wanted to go to the chamber. She wants to go in
Yeah.
the Last Chance Battle Royal, which we haven't had yet,
No, we haven't.
to try and get to
Well,
Australia.
I mean, it has happened, but it's been taped, so
no, Raw
spoilers.
hasn't been taped. Raw's live.
Oh, it's live?
Raw
okay,
is
but
live.
SmackDown got taped.
SmackDown
Yes.
taped. Yeah,
Sorry.
because
And
Raw's
then
live
it's-
from California, because that's where they were flying out of LA.
And then they'll fly straight out. Yeah, okay. Correct. And then speaking of Aussie talent, old mate Big Old Bronson.
Didn't qualify.
Mate,
No, and
mate.
you were saying, Dan, you think it's because apparently he's had a kid.
Don't throw this on me. This is not.
You
the LA
said that, man.
This is not LA Knight got married news. Thanks, Reese. This is I have heard.
Hey. Shit happens, man.
I haven't heard
Except
unauthorized
for not getting
rumors.
married, that didn't happen.
Yeah, unauthorized rumors
Look,
online.
there has to be a reason because to not bring a top Aussie talent like that seems a bit odd. There must be some reason he's
Yeah.
not coming.
So if he is not coming,
And a kid's a good enough reason to not come.
it is because the rumors were that his partner had a child. Which, if so, congratulations. If not, and it's a storyline reason, I think they have to really do something.
Because he
good.
came out like right after and made that tweet where he was like,
and they did a backstage segment with him too.
yeah.
Saying
So
that he
like,
let everyone
sorry,
down.
it
Australia
feels
let you
kind of
down.
storyline. But like,
But maybe that's the cover because he can't go.
I
So
guess
they were
we'll
like,
see what
that-
happens on Raw.
because people like us would be like, why are you not sending Bronson Reed to Australia? He's
Yeah.
Australian. What are you doing? So if they make a storyline out of it, good.
Yeah, true.
If he's had a kid, good. Either way, congrats, I guess.
Yeah, either way. I mean, it's a shame if he's not there. It is a bit of a shame. But if he's had his first kid, congratulations.
I do. Are you guys fans of his entrance? Where he
I
comes
saw
through
that
like Godzilla?
I saw that new video and I thought that looks really cheap.
I love it.
I'm
I
not
reckon
gonna
it's
lie.
So
It's
fun.
great.
The only thing,
your head out your
is
ass,
when Big E comes out, that might be a match for them at like a big pay-per-view is a big match. Big E
coming
versus
back.
Big Bronson Reed.
Versus Ivar
Big.
versus
Gunther.
Otis.
Oh man, they're gonna have to like double reinforce the ring. Imagine if you did a Money in the Bank match with all those guys and had those reinforced ladders that they had for Big Show back in
Here's
the
a
day.
pitch. You have the big match, right? You have Big Bronson Reed. You have Big E. You have Otis, and you have Ivar, and then you have the big strong boy Tyler Bate, and he picks all of them up and suplexes them all around the ring.
That would be pretty funny.
And
That'd be
break the
so
ring.
good.
Then they break.
Well,
the
actually,
ring.
the other person in that match should be Chad Gable, who actually wins and
You
suplexes
can't have
all of
Chad
them.
wrestling against Otis.
No, you could.
Ortiz.
You could. But we won't do it. So, getting on to one of the other matches at Chamber, one of the ones we actually know is happening, and there hasn't been a whole lot of build for it. But that's the tag team title
title
match.
match, yeah.
So, Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor will be defending their titles against the New Catch Republic.
That's correct.
Got it right.
Tyler Bate's a big
an
strong boy.
alright
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, look, I feel like they're just going to give them quite a bit of time and probably put on a banger, but I think it's pretty obvious that
Yeah.
Judgment Day will retain
Yes.
to go on against DIY, who will probably be the ones to dethrone them at some point. Or do you think it'll be the Wolf Dogs?
Awesome truth.
I
awesome
I
truth.
think
awesome
more that goes on every week, the more it leads towards that at WrestleMania.
It's awesome truth. For
Awesome
sure.
truth.
Because
Yeah.
there's still, like, even after, was it Raw last week? Not this week, the week before, where they did the beatdown on R-Truth?
Yes.
That theoretically should have been, like,
And then
it
this
done.
week, they had the match
But,
with
like-
JD McDonough.
And he pulled the chair
kept
up.
on trying to call the Miz because Miz couldn't get there in time.
And then R-Truth was on SmackDown as well.
Yep.
The
Yep.
Dom's match. So,
Pretended to hand him a chair, but then set it up and sat there and went, I'm not
so
in
like
Judgment Day,
they're
remember?
building it up a lot.
Yes,
I
100%.
definitely think like now that
gonna be
like
match.
you look at it and the fact that it's continuing after that like
So that
beatdown,
this might
it's
be
gonna
the
tag match at
the
WrestleMania.
thing we get at Chamber is that Truth comes out to distract the Judgment Day at some point, and then they still overcome and win.
Yeah.
But I think Truth will then set up the WrestleMania stuff. Yeah. I love Truth work at the moment, like the way he's talking
it's
Kevin
brilliant.
Owens and he's calling him Miz all the time, and he gets everybody
Yeah.
mixed up, and
Nah, R-Truth is
just
absolute
comedic
man.
gold.
he's so good.
He's absolute gold.
Comedic gold.
So that's,
So predictions. We're
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Judgment Day. Yeah, all the way. All the way. And then, I mean, we don't know what we'll leave Mummy till last because we'll assume that
hope.
that's the main event. We hope. So we'll go with the men's chamber before the women's because we actually know all the participants
Yes.
from the men's chamber.
That's
So
what you might think.
It's obviously two different brands,
Yeah.
right? So you've got Raw and
the
SmackDown.
brand split doesn't exist anymore. We spoke
No,
about
but
this.
like if it's a brand
I
split, you've
like
got
how they've
3
done
from
this.
Raw and 3 from SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
no,
You got 1 from Raw and 5 from SmackDown.
correct.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
So just to remind everybody
who's
at
winning?
home, and I will try and go in order here, but we've got Bobby Lashley, Mr. DM Hunk, Drew McIntyre,
Yep.
Randy Orton, LA Knight,
Yeah.
Logan Paul,
You-
and Kevin Owens are the 6 men in the chamber.
That's
now,
a stacked match.
it
man. That
is, which is
stacked.
awesome, which I think they realized they needed to do after all the stuff we've had so far with
we're
Gunther
getting
not
Randy
being
Orton.
there and everything else.
They're getting Randy Orton.
I know, right? And Bobby Lashley, dude. Big Bobby.
I hope we see Big Bob again.
DM Hunk.
Well, I hope you see Big Bob again, and then I'm nearby.
At the casino? Yeah. I'll bump into him again, sure. I know he loves
I can't
roulette
wait to hear
tables.
the pop when LA's music hits when he
Yeah.
comes out for the chamber too.
Hey,
that's gonna be
that's
big.
what we discussed. Like, let's backtrack a little bit. Dom is coming.
Mm.
Now we finally get to know if the boos are actually that loud.
But
in person.
we know what Australian crowds are like, man. There's nothing. The Australian crowds love to boo people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love to. I reckon we could probably get the best boos out of anywhere in the world if
I
we
want to see
actually
if it's
give
as
it a
loud
red
as
hot
it
go.
makes it out on TV.
Yeah.
I reckon I'll put money on it now. There will be a "You are a wanker" chant. We'll probably have.
That's probably going to happen to Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
You are
No,
a
he
wanker.
said he'll come out and he won't pull the whole, like, throw jabs at Australia. Like, he's
Now
coming.
he'll let Austin Theory do it for him.
He'll throw
Yeah,
jabs.
probably.
He'll throw jabs at Perth, and that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been
Maybe.
there, so I
Did you-
shouldn't say it. I was going to say it's fair enough, but
Did you see?
Probably
So
a nice place.
slightly off tangent. Blink 182, obviously they were touring, amazing tour. They started in Perth,
Yeah.
and then maybe they started in Adelaide, then they went to Perth. Either way, the West Australian News put an article out saying that major rock band doesn't like Perth and pays them out in the concert, and so what had happened was when they went to Adelaide, I think it was. They'd said, "Oh, you guys are so great. You're way better than that stupid Perth crowd that we had. They're terrible." Blah 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 blah. So the West Australian News wrote the thing saying that Blink 182 hates Perth. In case you don't realise, that's what they do everywhere.
Every
Every
That's
single
what
one.
literally
So, like,
every band does.
100%.
Yeah.
So when they got to Sydney, they're saying, "Oh, you guys are so much more attractive than those stupid idiots down in Melbourne." And don't even get me started on Adelaide. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what bands do."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They do it to get a crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe the Perth new media aren't quite as on top of
No,
international
they're-
touring acts
they're-
as they should be.
they're 3 brain cells.
What I'll
behind.
be interested to see is if someone sets up the wrestlers again to fail, like they did at Super Showdown, where they told Elias to bag out Collingwood.
Oh,
Because that's the local
was so
team that'll
great.
get you heat, and the whole crowd
Whole crowd's
cheered.
cheering.
And I remember watching. 'cause
We
he-
all hate
he
Collingwood.
He turned to Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens was partnered up with him at the time and goes, "Well, that didn't work." But they've cut it out. If you watch it back now, they cut it out.
Yeah, they do.
They cut it out.
Who do you share in Perth?
Huh?
It's got to be the Fremantle Dockers or something, right?
Well, that's
Western
the only team
Bulldogs?
they've got.
No, there's two.
Western
There's West Coast
Bulldogs?
Egos
Oh, sorry, yeah, there is 2. Sorry,
West
I thought
Coast
about it.
Eagles.
Fremantle. Yeah, there's only the 2 teams.
and Freo, which is all
Yeah.
Western Bulldogs now, right? Or are they from Melbourne? I don't follow AFL enough, so let me know.
obviously.
No, the West Eagles are from there.
Yeah, West Coast Eagles.
West Coast Eagles.
Fremantle.
Western,
Western
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs
are from Melbourne.
Yeah, so it's Fremantle.
They're
The
like
Dockers.
Western Victoria or Melbourne. I don't know.
could
We
just
don't follow AFL, man. We
shit
follow
on
wrestling.
shit on the Perth Glory. No one likes soccer.
But anyway, back to the Elimination Chamber. I have a feeling that we all probably think the same person's going to win.
Oh,
but
mate.
I want to hear from you. So, Reece, we'll start with you.
for both of these chambers, like we'll touch on the women's one very shortly, but I feel like the
Obvious.
winners have been very telegraphed.
Yep.
Yes.
Especially with the stories going on at the moment. I would love to see a swerve happen with one of them, but I just don't think that they're going to happen. Yeah. So, like, obviously, DM Hunk's going to win, go on to WrestleMania and face Seth. I would love to see a swerve. Maybe that's where LA Knight gets his WrestleMania.
What if Sammy comes out of
Fuck
one
Sami
of the
Zayn.
cage bits of the... Dude, that was really
Wow.
mean.
No.
So
Put my
rude.
foot down.
You know
Foot's
how we
down.
were talking about replacing him with Lockie? I think we
all
hit
for
the
this.
button, bro.
Yeah.
That was...
Overhyped.
Dude, you just...
Do you want more Seth Rollins on the podcast though? Because that's all you'll get with Lockie.
Yeah, I'd prefer that. Other than him saying, fuck Sami Zayn. That's
Overhyped.
really mean. I love
He's
Sami.
good. Mate, he's good.
He could pull a Shawn Michaels, come out of the bottom of the thing, and then like hell of a kick Drew McIntyre to make
Did
him
you-
lose the chamber.
Did you guys watch that TikTok that I sent you about Sami Zayn?
Yes, I did.
About the haluva kick?
Yes, I did.
Did you watch it? Of course you didn't, because you hate Sami Zayn. Essentially, he was talking about there was a match he was watching on 20 years ago, and I can't remember who it was. Oh no, it was your mate. Who was it? Sorry, I was just drinking at the time. It was your mate, Ted. Who was it?
Chris Jericho, wasn't it?
No.
No, which one? What? Oh, yeah,
X-Pac!
sorry, it was. Yeah, sorry.
I
X-Pac.
teed him up.
Oh, he teamed me up. I was
Straight for it, boys.
Okay, hang on.
Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, Sammy was saying like 20 years ago, he was watching like a wrestling podcast, a wrestling match, and there was this, I can't remember who it was. Jim Ross was talking about this thing. Who do you remember who it was?
X-Pac!
Correct. And he won the match
edit
with a kick, right? And Jim Ross called it a hell of a kick. And Sammy, as a kid, thought, oh, haluva kick. Like a haluva kick is a
Yeah.
move. So then he kept on calling his kick the haluva kick. And it was like when he got to like mid-20s or somewhere and he was doing ROH matches where someone's like, oh, you know, that's just, he won with a hell of a kick.
Yeah, he
He's
thought
like-
it was a move, yeah.
Oh.
Hell of a kick.
Whoops. But that's why he's named his thing the haluva kick.
He doesn't care.
Cool story.
No, he
I
has-
thought it was
he
obvious.
is
Did you
dead,
like
he
that
is-
story? I like that story.
Dude,
I
I
just thought it was
actually hadn't
obvious
seen
that
that
that's
story
why.
before, but it tickled me again.
What tickled you? Sorry.
The story tickled me.
Oh.
Not in any naughty places. Don't think of that. So you
wait till Perth, mate.
think Hunk's gonna win, right?
Yeah, I think Hunk's going to win. I'd like to see a swerve happen. I'd like to see LA Knight win. I'd like to
But
see
I don't
Bobby.
think it's
I'd
gonna
like to see any of them win. To
I
be
think
honest.
I
Like,
think
that's
he's already had his
carnage.
shots at Roman, so I don't think they'll necessarily
But
do that.
he's lost to Roman, so now he can fight for the
The consolation title.
yeah the loser pool.
Well, before we get into it, because I think we're on the same track here as to you think McIntyre's going to win, right?
Yes.
I think McIntyre's going to win. So then, in terms of what are the stories that are going to come out of it, because I think that's what we're really
As much as
looking
I
at,
like
right?
shitting on Sami Zayn, I do think with the way that they're playing out his story, he will make some sort of a comeback and get inserted into that World Heavyweight Championship title.
Yeah, it'd be a triple threat. I think so. Yeah.
I hope so, dude. Because him
Because
and Drew
look at
deserve to
WrestleMania
have a
10 years
pay-per-view
ago,
match
we had a
together.
triple threat for the WWE World Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
10 years before that, we had a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship.
That was, which was the one 20 years ago? It was Triple H,
Can't talk
Shawn
about it.
Michaels, and Redacted, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Redacted.
Redacted seems to be in a lot these days.
There's going to be a lot of redactions.
They need to have that on the 2K24. Redacted. It's
Redacted?
just a shadow.
I'll give me our creator wrestler. My GM mode with Redacted.
Don't do it.
Just a big question mark on the face.
I think there'll be a big storyline in the chamber between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. That'll set up a rematch for them at the WrestleMania.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
think that's
LA
gonna
Knight
happen.
and who?
Well, LA Knight and AJ
Because he
Styles
faced
still
he
feuding.
faced off with Drew, obviously this week
Yes.
backstage, which was quite
And
exciting.
they've
he
got
has a
match
match on
next
SmackDown.
next week
Yeah.
on SmackDown.
So that'll be interesting to
Which
see
has
how
already
that
been
goes.
spoiled if you want to see the results, but don't worry about it.
But
We're not
I guess
gonna
for me, because there's this idea. I think it might be LA and Logan at WrestleMania, and maybe not Kevin.
Well, I think that is what we theorize, but I feel like there's still. I don't feel like that Logan and KO thing is.
It's not finished.
It's not done.
No. And it'd be weird to jump off of that midway
Yeah.
and then go to Logan. I mean, to LA. If you finish the Kevin Owens story, sure, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's done.
Let Kevin Owens finish his story.
Finish the story.
And do we-
Bobby Lashley's the weird one in there because it just doesn't make
Well,
sense.
I mean, look, let's be clear here. I think it's kind of obvious what they're probably going to do. Carrion's going to get paid to come all the way to Australia and come out with Scarlett and just distract Bobby through the cage.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to say that.
I'm,
I don't wanna see
I'm
that.
getting very bored with that whole thing. I'm not going to lie.
Look,
Final Testament is
I
not
wanted
doing
it to
for me.
work, but it's not at
It's
this
not, they need to
stage.
do something with
and
it,
the
mate.
squash match that they had on SmackDown with
That was
AOP.
Pointless. And then
Lame.
now that they're booked in a match next week against Street Profits, like why not just have that on that SmackDown? What's the point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very. odd.
But yeah, I think Drew wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to see him be really strong in it, not get a fluky
Clean
win at the
sweep.
end. Maybe not a clean sweep, but a
Mm.
strong win through it. I think you set up KO and LA Knight, KO and Logan.
Logan.
I think you give LA Knight
Mm.
some good spots. He probably eliminates Lashley, and then maybe they have a number one contenders match or something
Yeah.
against Randy Orton for what happens at WrestleMania. Maybe do again the triple threat: LA, Randy, and AJ. You have that properly
For a number one
for the
contender.
number one contenders title.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be
Without
cool.
Roman this time. Because the match was good last time.
Yeah.
My absolute dream, I'm not going to lie, and I know this would never happen,
Yeah.
would be that Kevin somehow gets injured and last minute Sammy takes his spot in the chamber.
Yeah, I could see that.
And him and
That'd
Drew
finish his
actually
story.
draw the finish somehow,
Oh,
where
so
you
they
do like
both make
a
it.
pin on each other kind of thing. Like they both have a hand on each
Book
other,
its
but
head.
both,
Yeah,
both
okay.
shoulders
Look,
are down.
I would actually pop for that.
I'm down for that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny part of this, we're talking about it, none of us really mentioned anything for Randy Orton because, I don't know, he's just going to do some
look.
RKOs off the cage.
No, but the thing is, Randy's been there and done that, though. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, he's a 14-time champion.
Yep.
And he's been around for
he
so
14?
long. Yeah, he's 14. 14
So
time.
how many titles? He needs 17 titles to beat Ric Flair.
Yep.
So he's
Yeah.
definitely going to get at least one more title run.
To
Possibly two.
tie with John Cena.
16.
Flair.
He's on
John
16?
Cena's 16.
And he wants
So
to
is
get
Ric
to
Flair.
15.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I reckon
okay.
100% Orton gets to 16. And then they tease whether he gets the most or not. And then that'll be a
Okay,
retirement match.
that'd be
Look,
good if he did. Yep.
If anyone was to break the record,
Randy.
Randy
Company
is
guy,
definitely
for sure.
a better choice than John Cena ever was.
I don't necessarily fully agree with that statement, but I
think John
see it.
Cena would
I think
agree
John
with it.
Cena tying, like, I wasn't annoyed about that when that happened, but I
Yeah.
feel like
holding the record.
holding the record, I think Randy Orton.
But I don't
for
think they're
sure.
going to go past Ric Flair because, as you said, they seem to keep mentioning him a lot still. So I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with that. If there's some bridges being mended there or something. But
Well, he's
I
They're
think,
afraid
I
to
think
mention
maybe
him.
the AEW thing is just a business deal to get him to be with Sting for the end of Sting's career.
yeah,
But
and
Yeah.
I think for Woo
That's
Energy.
it.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So
So Drew to win the
Drew
chamber.
McIntyre maybe with a draw with Sammy, who
Somehow
subs
gets
in
there.
for KO. So we'll go on to the women's one. We'll leave best for last. Now, obviously, with the women's one,
Well, no, before we talk about that, we're going to talk about the Grayson Waller effect.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I thought we did already sort of touch on that a little bit.
Well, what do we think happens?
Well, that's a hard one, is it? Because Cody and
man.
Seth are appearing on Grayson Waller, and you would assume that would have meant
Cody
that
and his
maybe it was
shield.
going to be some sort of face-off against
Something.
someone from the bloodline.
We've got to talk about the promo they had on Raw and how
Oh,
brilliant
and
Seth
like-
was.
Brilliant.
I don't know what it was on Monday. I was just vibing with Seth a lot more before he even started his promo. And once he started his promo, I was just like, this is the Seth that we need
Yeah, absolutely.
all the time.
It's the Seth that he needs, man. I've been so sick and tired of the last 12 months of him just coming out, standing there and people going woo, and him going, and it's like, what are you, the Joker? Like, what? But he just showed, like, he can do a massive,
Like
a
when he
great
gets
promo.
that
Just let him do
serious,
it, man.
when he gets that serious side, it's just it's great television.
He's really good
I
at it.
absolutely love it.
Yeah. I loved the fact that like he sort of said how he sort of helped create Roman.
Yeah.
He wants to be the Shield.
Yep.
I've heard lots of people talking online now about like Avengers type stuff where more
Yeah.
and more Avengers start coming back to help Cody. So you're gonna have your lumberjack idea where
Yep.
you have Jey Uso with him, Sammy will
They
come
take
with him.
out all his counterparts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that all take out the bloodline so that it is just Cody and Roman. So I like that idea. I like that they build that kind of story. I think this Seth promo was sick.
Well, he did say, I'm going to take everything from you, not just that title, right? So he's
Yeah.
going to take his whole empire.
So
And I really think like when you think about that and like all the little seeds that they're planning, like this WrestleMania is big. It's 40 years. Like every 10 years, it's always like something big is going to happen.
yeah.
And it feels like has the potential to be one of the biggest ever, just because of all these little threads that they're trying to sew together with this bloodline story,
Yeah.
and how that's going to wrap up.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked
gonna be
about
so
SmackDown
exciting.
and talk about The Rock coming back at all. Do we think The Rock shows up here?
Look, mate, I'm trying to manifest it, but I don't. I feel like It'll be a great surprise for us if it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd pop, I'd cry.
'Cause my-
like
I just
all
don't
of the
think they'd
above.
leave it as a surprise though.
And,
That's
like,
the problem.
that's the
They would have said it
From a
early on
business
to sell out the tickets.
perspective, like if you want that show to get bigger numbers,
You'd have The Rock's coming.
You would say The Rock's coming. You'd say Roman's coming.
Yep.
So
I think-
just don't know what's going to happen.
This is my take on the Grace Waller effect.
Yeah.
That they talk about the bloodline and blah, 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 blah.
I think Jimmy and Solo coming out.
I don't know if the bloodline comes out. I reckon Grayson Waller stands up for them. And him and Austin
Because
Theory.
we did have that little segment with
Heyman.
Waller talking to Heyman on SmackDown, which I thought was really interesting. And then I was like,
And I reckon they take...
I like
they-
what you're cooking here because that sounds to me as if Seth and Cody go, well, let's try this out and see if we can actually be a tag team. They destroy A-Town Down Under, and then at the end they maybe shake hands. Cody and Seth, right? To
Yes.
be like, okay,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
yeah.
do this. You know what I mean?
I think that's what they do.
I can
because
see what you're cooking. Yeah.
that's not... That doesn't have to be a 25-minute
Mate,
tag match. That's a 10-minute...
6 days can't come
And
quick enough.
A-Town Down Under is so like...
They're so great.
They could get a squash match and everyone still wants to see them on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to hurt them.
Like we've talked shit about Austin Theory before, in terms of the way that his character was booked a year or 2 years ago when he was the champion. No one really liked it. No. In ring though, he's really good.
It's good. And like,
And
look
so is
at it.
Grayson. Like they're both
Like-
really good in ring talents. They will put over Cody and Seth. There'll be huge pops if that happens. And that way you can then, assuming that they're booking that Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody night one main event tag match, you now have Cody and Seth have tagged together.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've done it. We can work together. We can do this. We can take on the bloodline. And then
Yeah.
that leads to the rest of the story. So
No, I like
that's
that.
my pick for what
That's a good
happens.
idea. I'm down with that.
I'm down.
Any other ideas for it, or are you?
No, I'm settled.
I think that's a really good idea. Actually, I was struggling
I'd be
a
happy
little
with
bit
that.
there. Look at that. I now take my Booker title and hand it to you, good sir.
No, it's all right.
Hey, we all have some good ideas sometimes. Don't take that off yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's the Grayson Waller, and then on to the women's. Sorry.
Yes.
So we haven't officially got all the entrants yet because obviously the last one happens on Raw.
Jay Cargill.
Yep. But the other ones who have been confirmed: Becky Lynch, Bianca, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Liv, and I put on there redacted.
Damn, Redactor's going to win the
Look,
title.
look, like, I get it. I would be happy to see that, but I've seen a lot of reports saying the opposite, like in the last few days,
That they've taken.
that they're taking Jade
Jade
Cargill
out of it.
out of the chamber.
I've
Because
seen that
she's
too.
going to get her first pinfall loss in any situation in that match,
Yeah.
which I don't really think with how you've built her up and presented her so
Yeah, it's
far.
a valid point.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's stupid giving her a pinfall loss so soon.
Yeah.
Here's the story that I booked before to you guys, and I'll pitch it to the podcast audience this time. The Chamber goes on last. So you've already had the Rhea and Nia match. Rhea's retained in Australia. Maybe open the show with it, however you want to do it, whatever.
I just remembered what this was.
Rhea's still the champion. The sixth person that wins this battle royal is Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green!
And so she's walking out to the chamber match, and she gets blindsided and destroyed by Nia Jax, who enters herself into the chamber. and
Dude,
wins.
why does Chelsea always get like destroyed and injured in your ideas?
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
I love Chelsea Green. She's fantastic.
Man, Matt Cardone's going to find where you live. He's going to come
Please
in.
do.
He's not bringing
Come be on
Chelsea
our
with him.
podcast.
My
mate.
address is
You can replace
93. No, it's not.
His phone number is 04. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I reckon that could be the swerve to get Nia Jax double
Please
duty
no.
and try and get back into it.
Please no.
But I don't. I still think it's Jade.
It's Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania.
If it's not Jade, who is
It's
it?
got to be.
If it's not Jade, who is it?
Don't look at me, man.
Well,
We'll
you're the
find
one-
out on Raw.
You're the one telling me it's not her. We're booking now. This is our prediction show. Tell us.
Shayna Baszler.
She's already lost the qualifier.
She's in the second chance battle royal.
Oh, you actually think
Is
they're
it,
gonna give-
is it time for a Raquel return or is she injured?
I don't know.
She's been off the scene for a while. Remember, they did try the whole Rhea and Raquel thing.
and, like, this is
you
the-
could get Liv and Raquel onto... Because, I mean, they were tag team
I
partners,
like
right?
this. Yeah.
So that could also then, if
And, like,
she's
that's
in
the
the
thing,
match...
like, Liv's doing a whole revenge tour thing at the
Yeah.
moment. There's no chance in hell that's a bigger story than Rhea and Becky.
It's not. No.
No, but
So
if you bring
maybe you
Raquel
can tie
back,
it into
But
Raquel coming back, taking the
Turning on
spotlight.
Liv.
coming
and then-
back, I get it, because
No,
she's got it back. That was good. That was a
Unintended
good joke.
pun.
That was good.
I reckon that works because then you've got. Because what does Liv do at WrestleMania?
Yeah, exactly.
Liv needs revenge on someone. It could be her former tag partner that takes her out of the chamber.
Yeah, that may. I only just thought
Mate,
about
we-
that. I'm
John
impressed by
Bucket's-
myself.
be cooking. Let's make some stew.
I think that's probably now my favorite. I think to do it, because I was trying to think of who would be the 6th woman in there. I thought there's no one really I can think of that wouldn't be like obvious they're not going to win and they're not going to add anything to it. You know what I mean?
Unless, because like if they put an Indy Hardwell or Piper Niven or something,
Well,
like
it was kind of like replacing Shotzi with Alba
Alba
Fire
Fire,
against
yeah.
Naomi, right? I think everyone went, well,
Yeah.
sorry, Alba Fire. Don't think you're getting in. But look, you know what? Can I just say, considering not that long ago we were talking about how, we're not going to have that many top stars. That's 2 stacked chamber matches right there, man.
just talking on that injury thing, isn't Charlotte Flair ahead of schedule?
Not that much ahead of schedule, buddy.
No, but she did come out and say that.
Not
So
that
that's
much ahead of
interesting.
schedule.
She's going to pull a John Cena.
Could you imagine?
Look,
I'd be a little bit sad. I'm going to be a little bit sad if it was
if it
to
happens, like,
Oh, no.
I feel like I'd be very,
reaction.
very annoyed.
Ronda Rousey, surprise return.
I would hang myself in that crowd.
Wow.
I would absolutely.
This got really dark.
You obviously don't want Ronda Rousey.
He's
Mate,
gone-
we're going to be sitting below that WrestleMania sign.
Dude.
I'm just going to throw
Dude,
a
this is
grapple
great.
kick
Going
up.
on YouTube, shut the fuck up.
Reece, this is how I can summarize your appearance on this show today. Fuck Sami Zayn, and I'm going to commit self-death.
Redacted.
Right? Yeah, redacted.
He's going to unalive himself.
He's going to unalive. All right, anyway. So we all think that Big Time Bex is going to win, right?
Yes. Yeah,
'Cause, I mean, we had the whole thing.
They've
at
been
the
building that
press
story
conference.
for so long.
And I think, again, they will put on probably a match that will steal the card at WrestleMania. So I think that's what everyone wants. Keep it that
It'll
way.
be a great match. Becky gets the win in her first ever Elimination Chamber. Like, everything
wins.
just tees up to that big collision at WrestleMania.
And then we get to the main event.
Mummy's always on top.
Mummy is always
Always
on top.
on top.
Rhea Bloody Ripley
Bloody
My question for this match is,
versus Nia Jax.
can she get a good 15 minutes out of Nia?
I think it's going to be a very slow match.
I think.
Which is why I don't think it should be main event.
Good point. I do think it's not going to be like a very fast-paced match. I think it's going to be a lot more methodical. There's going to be a story to tell.
Yes.
Maybe working on some limbs somewhat
And
to
the
slow
normal,
people
like,
down.
Can she riptide her? No, she can't. Can
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
No, she can't. And then the third time, lucky she does it.
She'll
sort of
find
thing.
another way.
Like, I could see that, but like, I don't see that. Despite the massive pop the Mummy will get in Australia,
Yeah.
I don't think that match.
Unless they pull a
finishes the
swerve
card.
and like make it a no DQ match and we get some weapons and stuff, I don't think it as a singles match, sorry Ted,
Yeah.
will be enough of a
a
draw for the
one-on-one
main
match,
event.
yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I just don't think it would necessarily happen that way because they're trying to, like, portray Nia in the sense of, the immovable object.
Yeah. The problem
I
is,
don't think she'd need weapons to win, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to pull off that she wouldn't need that.
it's more the pacing of the card like this, where you've got chamber matches where there's going to be high flying, there's going to be cage spots, there's going to be huge action.
Yeah.
If everyone gets super pumped for that and we see Drew win or Becky win or whatever,
think-
and then we come back down to a slow, methodical Rhea beating thingy match, it's
Yeah.
it's not.
What's your order? Let's do an order
Yeah,
prediction
that's a
after we're
difficult
done.
one because I thought Rhea would go last
I've got
because let's
one.
be honest, that is when the crowd's going to
so-
lose it when her music hits. Like, the
so-
crowd is going to go ballistic.
I have Rhea opening the card.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, opening.
Going early.
I have Rhea winning early. Mm-hmm. Then I go to. Oh, they probably start with a chamber match, wouldn't they? Let's start with
This
the
is what I'm thinking.
men's chamber
Maybe,
match.
yeah.
Right?
Men's chamber starts it.
Maybe it's going to bookend it.
Yeah, I agree.
what I'm
So
thinking.
men's chamber starts it.
Chamber at the start. Chamber at
Rhea
the
comes
end.
out and wins. Then the Judgment Day match. Then the Grayson Waller effect. And then for the women's chamber, Rhea comes back out. So Rhea is there outside the chamber talking smack at all the people. And then when Becky wins, the cage goes up and then they face off. That's how we finish the
Oh, that's your money shot
That's
to
how you
finish the
finish
Dude,
it.
show.
you've been thinking about this, man.
Yeah,
That
I
was
reckon.
a long
I
drive
reckon
to
men's
blink.
chamber,
I
Tag
think about
match.
Mummy a lot, but sorry.
men's chamber tag title match. Rhea Nia, then the Waller
Grayson
effect,
Waller, yeah.
and that will lead into the women's chamber as your main event.
Yeah. I think that's probably the way they do it. I
Because
think-
that gives you that like 20 minutes, half an hour for Rhea to cool down
Yep.
and then come back out.
I like that idea, actually.
I'm not sure how they'd book it though with Judgment Day, if they would like be with Rhea for her title shot, and if they're not,
I think just
because if
Dom.
they're not,
I think
then
just
you
Dom.
say, well, the reason they didn't come out to help Rhea was because they have their own match.
Mm.
But if they've had their match, then Rhea comes out and something happens and they don't help Rhea. You're like, why the hell didn't Judgment Day come?
Yeah.
So that's the tricky part of booking those two spots is like, how do you work that out?
Well,
With-
like we don't really see
maybe not
Judgment
even-
Day interfering in Mummy's matches
okay,
at
well,
all.
maybe
No.
not judgment, but I mean Dom.
Yeah.
If Dom's not with Mummy, then
Well, I
he's
don't
gotta be with
think
the
he
tag
will
team.
be because they want Rhea to win on her own terms.
And they wanted to get
and that's
cheered,
the
not
whole
booed.
point, right? They want to get her against Becky at WrestleMania, and that's going to be her first real challenge where she might need help because Becky is big time Bex.
Yeah, okay.
Because she's been so dominant over the last year, right? That's the whole point: is who can beat Rhea, and this is her last hurdle to overcome is the immovable object.
Yep.
Is that what they've been calling her? I can't remember.
Irresistible
now.
Force.
Irresistible force. Sorry, that's the one I was
Force.
trying to think of. Irresistible force.
I think one of them called Rhea the Nightmare, but she's not. She's
She's not part of the Nightmare Factory.
no. But what do they call her? Not
The Eradicator.
not
The Eradicator.
Nightmare. So
Oh man,
Sounds like Captain
Look,
Marvel.
we are so close to Perth now. It is like we are literally flying out
yeah, 3 days.
in 3 days.
Yep.
I get to wake up tomorrow and not go to work.
Yeah, me too. How good.
Right.
People who don't say bad things on podcasts get to
Get extra time off work.
I'm sorry, man. We should have told you.
You guys overhype Sami Zayn.
Oh, don't
Don't go
bro, don't hurt my boy. Just because he sits on the hard cam side at AEW to do his promos.
Could you imagine, if the EPW event happens on the Friday and they've got
Sami
a
Zayn
battle
turns
royal and Sami Zayn turns up to the local event and still loses.
Oh,
To work on his depressed, he can't win.
That would
anything.
be cool.
And WWE film it to a degree,
Yeah.
and have this thing part of his story where Sammy goes to the local show and still can't win.
bro, I just want him to turn up to the local show now. Oh, he got me excited.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, look, I'm excited for you talking about the fact of how can he insert himself into that title picture, or if Drew goes on to win at WrestleMania, does Sammy become one of his first
yeah, people. Yeah.
people to like opponents or feuds or something maybe after the fact?
Yep.
That might be the other option if he doesn't get in there for a triple threat. But yeah. Let us know what you think, what's going to happen in Perth. Are there any other matches you think that might get announced that haven't been announced yet? What are you most favourite for? Who do you think's going to win? When are you getting to Perth?
Yeah, if you're over in Perth, come find us. So we'll be we're going to go to the press event.
Hit us up on
Yep.
TikTok,
Yep.
on Instagram, on X,
Yep.
Twitter.
all of the above.
Let us know where you are in Perth. You're going to see us around.
We're doing the EPW.
Yes,
event.
EPW show.
We're going to
Yep.
try and do the press event.
Yep. Because
We've
we are
obviously got
press.
Elimination Chamber. We're also going to the Luke Kidgel, Blake Pavey show, who do a podcast called BLT, and they're massive wrestling fans too.
That's awesome.
So they'll.
Have you teed up some time with them?
I haven't teed it up yet, but we'll try and talk to them at the shows because they're doing a show on the Sunday after Elimination Chamber for their
But
podcast.
definitely, there's still tickets available for the EPW show on the Friday night. So if you're in
Get to
Perth
it.
on Friday night, if you didn't get a ticket to
nothing
the
better
Dead
to
Man
do?
show or you couldn't afford it like us, and you want to see some wrestling the night before, go to EPW. It's stacked card too. There's such great Australian talent that are all there.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. So if you have nothing to do on that Friday night, get yourself a ticket. There's still plenty available. So make sure you get there and check that out and support the local.
come say hi to
local
us.
wrestling.
We'll interview you for the podcast.
Please,
chuck it on
please.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll give you. Your
Maybe we'll
live
give you a free
reactions.
hat if you answer some
Hey,
questions.
Easy,
Free hat.
Turbo.
Free hat.
Hey, we've got spare hats.
I think we have one.
No, I was going to say, let's get some questions
It's
done.
this one.
Yeah.
You can get a hat worn by Booker Ted. See,
And
you've got
signed.
the sweat on it.
We'll sign it for you.
And signed. Oh, maybe we should give away a signed hat.
We're not that
Signed
special.
by someone.
Settle
Signed
down.
by who?
We should give people 5 questions about Elimination Chamber. If they could get them
Win
all
a hat.
right.
No,
fucking win a hat.
Ooh.
5 questions about the podcast.
Oh,
No.
and
No.
if you get them right, you can win a hat.
Because I don't even think we'd get them right.
No, we probably wouldn't. But we're not the ones trying to win the hat. We already have a hat. So we
First,
don't
first
need to
pick in
know.
the best tag teams draft was.
What?
Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough.
Exactly.
That was okay. Let's not do that then. Well, look, that's another podcast down, guys. And this is the last podcast before we're in Perth.
Bye, goodbye.
Goodbye,
Pool
pool
table of
table of relevancy. We're going to be going to
do
the
we-
island of relevancy.
What if
which
there's
is
a pool
Rocknest
table at the
Island.
Airbnb?
There's not, unfortunately.
No, there isn't. There
What sort of
isn't.
table is
It'll
there?
just be the normal table of relevancy.
I don't know. That's a
the
good question. It
B&B
might be the
table of
sofa of
relevancy.
relevancy. We'll see how we go. We are going to do some recording in Perth, so
Absolutely.
make sure you keep following us and check us out next week. We'll put up our episode. It'll be all about the chamber and all about Perth. So, and obviously we'll maybe even try and do one for the EPW show. We'll see how we go. I don't think there's going to be much sleep on this trip, man. I'm going to be
I think there's going to be a lot of alcohol involved too.
A lot of fun.
Might be some
Food and
energy
alcohol.
drinks.
Oh, Ted's funding the trip.
What? What?
What?
Sponsored by.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Danielson. Thank you, Radio.
Thank you, Teddy.
I'm Booker Ted here in Madison Square Garage, around the pool table hotels in Sydney. That's another episode of Down on the Mat done. We will see you in Perth. Bang bang, scissor gang. Woo!
I missed.
That was terrible. I think I stabbed you.